Something is shifting. Virgo, you can feel it under your skin, behind your eyes, in the way you've been breathing lately. The world hasn't changed on the surface, but something underneath you has started to stir. A quiet current, pulling you somewhere you can't quite name yet. This isn't coincidence. This isn't timing. This is calling, and your soul has been waiting for this moment longer than you realize. You didn't find this message. It found you. And now, heaven is ready to speak the words you were never supposed to live without. If you're here, Virgo, it means something bigger than you has aligned to bring you to this moment. This isn't a random scroll or just another video. This is timing. This is alignment. You've been walking around lately with a strange feeling in your chest, like something is about to shift, and maybe you've tried to shake it off. Blame it on the stress, the weather, the news, but deep down, you know better. Something's been whispering to you, not in words, but in patterns, in timing, in the quiet between the noise. Your soul has been asking questions your mind doesn't want to face. Questions like, am I still on the right path? Why do I feel so tired even when I rest? And why does it feel like I'm carrying something that no one sees but still expects me to hold? Let's be real for a moment, Virgo. You're the one who shows up. You're the one who keeps it together, the one people lean on. And lately, it's felt like you've been holding up the weight of the world with one hand while trying to pretend it's not heavy. But it is heavy, and no one's really asked how you're doing underneath it all. This message is your permission to pause, to breathe, to stop pretending you're fine when you're not. Because something sacred is on its way to you. And the more honest you are about where you are now, the clearer that message will come. So don't look away. Don't minimize it. The shift you feel, it's real. And you didn't miss it. You're right on time. Virgo, you've always had a special kind of intelligence, one that sees what others miss. Not loud or flashy, just quietly, deeply aware. While other people wait for signs and fireworks, you catch divine messages in the way a stranger says your name, in the silence before someone speaks, in the sudden urge to turn down a street you never take. That's not random. That's how heaven speaks to you. Through the small, the subtle, the nearly invisible. Your gift is in the noticing, and that's exactly what is needed right now. Lately, you may have noticed a string of strange patterns. People bringing up the same subject. Certain numbers showing up over and over. A dream that felt so real it clung to your skin all morning. That's not your imagination. That's preparation. The message being sent to you isn't going to be wrapped in thunder or lightning. It's going to come through a moment of clarity. One of those moments where everything just clicks. Where what didn't make sense for months suddenly fits together perfectly, like a key sliding into the right lock. Your mind was built to recognize these shifts. You've always had the ability to connect dots others can't even see. And right now, that gift is being activated for a reason. There's a decision ahead, one that will shape the next chapter of your life. And the signs leading you to that decision have already begun appearing. Are you paying attention to them? Are you writing them off as coincidence? Don't. Because those patterns, those intuitive nudges, they are your confirmation, your roadmap, your permission slip to trust yourself, even when no one else sees what you see. And this brings us to something deeper. Virgo, you've been the one holding it together for so long that people have forgotten you're human too. You show up, you plan, you fix, you organize chaos and make it look easy. But what no one sees is how exhausted you've been, how much you've been carrying in silence. This message isn't just about spiritual awareness, it's about soul care. And part of that care means facing a truth you've been avoiding. You've been giving everything to everyone and saving nothing for yourself. Maybe you believe that love is earned through usefulness. that your value is in what you do, not who you are. That if you stop being the one who shows up, the world will fall apart. But Virgo, that belief is breaking you, and heaven sees it. Your Father in heaven wants to rewrite that script. You are not loved for how well you perform. You are not chosen because of your perfection. You are loved because of your heart, because of your intention, because of your essence. It's time to let some of that care flow back to you. It's time to stop apologizing for needing rest, or boundaries, or help. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. And contrary to what you might think, asking for support doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest. And that honesty is sacred. There's a message coming, one that will speak directly to this belief that your worth is tied to your work. It will remind you that divine love is not transactional. It's not earned. It simply is. So what would happen if you gave yourself the same grace you give everyone else? What would happen if you stopped just surviving and actually allowed yourself to be held, to be nourished? That is what this next phase of your journey is about. Heaven is inviting you to not only recognize the messages being sent, but to also recognize your right to receive what you've been giving away for so long. You don't need to earn peace. You don't need to qualify for rest. You don't need to be perfect to be chosen. What you need now is permission. Permission to breathe. Permission to be soft. Permission to be seen. And here it is granted. This is the moment where things begin to shift, not because you push harder, but because you finally allow what's already been prepared for you to land. Stay open, stay aware, and most importantly, stay kind to yourself, because something sacred is on its way. And when it arrives, you'll recognize it, not because it shouts, but because it will speak the language of your soul. And here's something else. Virgo, your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a sacred tool. The fact that you can feel so deeply, notice what others ignore, and respond with care, that's not something to suppress. That's part of your divine wiring. Maybe it's made you feel different, misunderstood, even too much. But it's exactly what makes you qualified to receive what others miss. This world needs your gentleness, your precision, your heart. And right now, the heavens are preparing a message that will roughly, Virgo, your soul path is unique even among others who share your sign. The message your Father in heaven is preparing for you is deeply personal, and depending on when you were born, it carries a distinct vibration meant just for you. If you were born between August 23rd and September 2nd, this message will revolve around your purpose. Not just your career, not just your title, but your soul's actual mission. Something you once thought of as routine, something you might have even resented or felt stuck in, is about to reveal itself as sacred. You're going to realize that what felt like just a job was actually training ground for something much bigger. You'll begin to see your experiences not as detours, but as divine rehearsals. That frustration you've carried, that invisible ceiling, it's about to break open, and what's on the other side is a sense of purpose that finally feels real. For those born between September 3rd and 12th, your message is centered on relationships. You've been trying to love others well while quietly breaking inside. You've given chances, you've extended grace, and somewhere in that process, you may have lost sight of your own boundaries. Heaven is calling you to rebalance, not to close your heart, but to protect it. You can be kind without being overrun. You can serve without surrendering yourself. The divine message arriving in your life will help you understand who is truly for you and who's just there to take. You'll start to see people clearly, not through the lens of hope, but through the lens of truth. And for those born between September 13th and 22, your divine warning comes through the realm of finance and stability. You've been carrying a quiet fear. What if the money runs out? What if I'm not secure? What if everything I've built isn't enough? But here's the truth. Heaven has watched every choice you made in integrity, every time you chose honesty over gain. And now, new doors are preparing to open, doors that will challenge your old beliefs about what you deserve. You'll need to say yes to opportunities that feel too good, because this time, they're not tests, they're blessings in disguise. Now, regardless of your birth window, there's a deeper thread running through all of this, and it's this, Virgo. You've spent years believing that you had to prove yourself to be worthy of good things. You've tied your blessings to effort, your rest to productivity, your value to how much you do. But that belief system is running on fumes. It's out of alignment with your soul. And the divine message being sent to you now, it's about realignment, about coming back to a truth so simple yet so hard to accept: you are already worthy. There's a reason you feel resistance when good things happen. It's not because you don't want them. It's because some part of you still thinks you haven't earned them yet. Maybe you were raised to believe that love is conditional. Maybe somewhere along the line, you were taught that you have to give more than you receive, just to stay safe. But that story is no longer serving you. In fact, it's keeping you from receiving the very grace that's trying to reach you. So here's the invitation. Let the grace land. Stop measuring every blessing. Stop questioning every good thing. Start believing that maybe, just maybe this time, it's not a coincidence. It's not random. It's not an accident. It's divine timing. And it's for you, Virgo. Your perfectionism has tried to protect you. It told you that if you just got it right, if you just did it all correctly, then maybe you'd be safe. But safety doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. And surrender doesn't mean weakness. It means trust. Trust that your intentions are enough, that your heart is seen, that your efforts are multiplied in ways you'll never fully understand. Heaven isn't asking you to be flawless. It's asking you to be faithful, to stay soft, to stay open, to stop disqualifying yourself before the miracle has even had a chance to reach you. You don't need to be perfect to be chosen. You just need to be present. And right now, in this moment, you are. That's what matters. Here's something else you need to know. The shift that's happening in your life is not about doing more. It's about receiving more. And for someone like you who's been trained to serve, to fix, to hold everything together, receiving can feel unnatural, even uncomfortable. But it's your next spiritual step. This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming balanced. You're not here to carry the world alone, and you're not here to prove your worth through suffering. What if rest became your revolution? What if joy became your protest? What if the most powerful thing you could do right now is to stop, breathe, and allow the universe to finally show you what it's been preparing behind the scenes? That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And it's time. Virgo, there's something about you that makes people feel safe, like the chaos around them can finally breathe. And you probably don't even realize it, because it's just what you do. You organize the messy, you bring peace to confusion, you restore broken systems with quiet brilliance. But here's the truth, that isn't just a personality trait. It's a spiritual gift, one that's been with you since the beginning. You have the ability to take what's scattered and bring it into order. You see what doesn't work long before others notice. You're the one spotting the detail that prevents disaster, the pattern that reveals the truth. That's not just intelligence. That's discernment. And it's time to start treating that gift like the sacred responsibility it is. Because the message that's coming for you, Virgo, will require you to step into your role, not just as a helper, but as a builder, as a leader, as a guide. You've spent so much time fixing everyone else's life that you've forgotten how to build your own, but not anymore. The divine warning heading your way will include instructions, real ones, about how to use your talents not only to serve, but to create the life you deserve. It's time to apply that same genius you've used to hold others together, to heal and elevate yourself. And part of that process, Virgo, means facing something big, something heavy, your perfectionism. Now, most people think perfectionism is just about wanting things neat or clean. But for you, it's deeper. It's emotional. It's how you've tried to stay safe. If you can just get it right every move, every detail, every word, then maybe you won't get hurt. Maybe people will stay. Maybe you'll finally feel enough. But the truth is, perfectionism has become a prison, and it's keeping you from what you truly want. You see, the divine doesn't need you to be perfect. The divine needs you to be real, to be present, to show up with your whole heart. Even when the plan isn't airtight, that's what multiplies your efforts. That's what invites grace to move. The power isn't in getting it right, it's in getting it honest. You've held yourself to impossible standards for so long that you've started to measure your worth by them. You've forgotten that effort is sacred, that trying again is holy, that showing up, even shaky, is stronger than disappearing in fear. The warning that's coming is about releasing that grip, about learning to trust that your value isn't in the result, it's in the intention. And when your intention is pure, the divine will take it further than you ever could with force or fear. Imagine if you let go of the fear that says, it has to be perfect, or it's not worth doing. Imagine if you gave yourself the same compassion you so freely give to others. How much would your life change? Here's the truth, Virgo. You're not meant to carry every burden. You're not meant to be flawless to be loved. You're not meant to hold the world on your shoulders just to earn a seat at the table. You already belong, and your Father in heaven sees the weight you've been dragging behind your smile. This next message will speak directly to that. It will invite you to lay it down, to loosen your grip, to receive instead of reach. It's going to ask you to trust, really trust that your worth isn't based on performance, that you're still chosen, still wanted, still precious, even when the edges are messy and the lines aren't straight. So here's your moment, your invitation to breathe, to soften, to listen. Because this time, the message isn't about how to fix more. It's about how to finally live free. You've likely noticed the way your body tenses when things feel uncertain. That's the perfectionist armor. It's done its job in the past, keeping you focused, high-achieving, in control. But now it's costing too much. It's draining your joy. It's silencing your spontaneity. It's holding your peace hostage. And the divine message coming isn't just about soft encouragement, it's a call to shed that armor, to choose courage over control. This next chapter in your life isn't about getting better at being perfect. It's about becoming free in your imperfection. It's about discovering that the most magnetic thing about you is not your ability to hold it all together, but your willingness to be open even when you don't. You're allowed to say, I don't know. You're allowed to take breaks. You're allowed to disappoint people who were never supposed to manage your worth in the first place. And when you start living from that place, Virgo, everything changes. Peace replaces pressure. Presence replaces performance. And love, true love, rushes in where approval used to live. So ask yourself, are you ready to be free? Virgo, one thing about divine communication, it rarely comes the way we expect. It's not always a booming voice or a grand moment of clarity. More often than not, it shows up in the details. And you, more than anyone, are designed to notice those details. That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. You might start to see repeating numbers like 11, 11, 12, 12, 555. These aren't just fun patterns or superstitions. They're nudges, confirmations, reminders that you are in sync with something bigger. Or maybe someone says something to you in passing, just a sentence, but it hits you right in the heart like it was meant only for you. That's not chance. That's guidance wrapped in simplicity. Pay attention to the little things this week. A sudden wave of peace that comes out of nowhere. A song lyric that lands deeper than it should. A memory that resurfaces without warning, but brings clarity. These are the breadcrumbs of divine direction, and right now you're being asked to follow them. You don't need to chase a burning bush or wait for lightning. You just need to slow down enough to notice, because the signs are already here. The message is already in motion, and your role is not to figure it all out, but to respond when your soul says, "This matters." Sometimes, the most powerful guidance doesn't show up as something new. It shows up as a sudden understanding of something old, something you've seen 100 times but are only now seeing clearly. That's revelation, and it's arriving. So stay soft, stay open, and trust that what's meant for you won't shout. It will whisper in a language only your heart knows how to hear. You may also find yourself encountering the same person in unexpected places, or hearing their name come up again and again. That, too, is not random. It could be a messenger, or a symbol, or even a reflection of something unresolved that's ready to be seen. Don't brush it off. Start a journal. Keep track of the odd moments, the coincidences, the gut feelings. Over time, you'll notice they're not scattered at all. They're forming a pattern, a map, your map. And when that moment of clarity comes, and it will, you'll be able to look back and realize the signs were always there. You just needed time to see them fully. And here's the beautiful part. The message that's coming for you will not create fear. It will bring peace. A kind of peace that doesn't need external proof. A peace that sinks into your bones and tells you you're on the right path. That is the hallmark of divine guidance. It doesn't rush, it reassures. So as you move through these next few days, walk gently. Ask for signs if you need them, and then trust that you'll know them when they appear. Because Virgo, this season isn't about forcing answers. It's about receiving them. Virgo, let's be honest, how many times have you prayed into silence? How many nights have you whispered questions into the dark, hoping something, anything, would answer, and instead, all you got was more silence, more stillness, more waiting. Over time, that silence starts to feel like abandonment, like maybe the divine forgot, or maybe you're not important enough, or maybe the signs are for other people, and you're just meant to figure it out on your own. But here's the truth. What you called silence was actually sacred preparation. Everything you thought was being ignored was actually being aligned. Every delay had a purpose. Every unanswered prayer was being woven into a moment that could only arrive when you were truly ready to receive it. And Virgo, that moment is now. If you're still here, I want to ask you something. What in you hasn't been said yet? What truth have you buried under the pressure to hold it all together? One word, one feeling, one thing you're finally ready to admit. Type it in the comments. Freedom, fear, relief, grief, whatever rises up. This moment is not about being right, it's about being real. Because right now, the silence is breaking. You may not hear trumpets, there may not be fireworks, but you will feel it. It will be a shift in your chest, a breath that drops deeper, a peace that doesn't make sense but refuses to leave. You will wake up one morning, and the weight will feel lighter. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because something inside you finally let go. This divine message isn't coming to fix you. You were never broken. It's coming to reveal what's always been true. You are seen. You are heard. You are held. Even in the silence. Especially in the silence. That's where the divine does its deepest work, in the hidden, in the waiting. in the quiet preparation. Maybe you've spent years building walls to survive. Perfection, performance, control. But walls keep out more than pain, they keep out peace too. And now those walls are ready to come down. Slowly, gently, with grace. Because you don't need protection anymore. You need presence. This moment, Virgo, is sacred. Don't rush past it. Don't overthink it. Just feel it. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let the breath in deeper than before. Because something is being released. And what comes next is new. The divine doesn't shout. It whispers. And if you're quiet enough right now, if you really lean in, you'll hear it. Not outside of you, but within. It's been waiting to speak your name, and now it finally has. And I know, Virgo, you're not someone who easily lets go. You've been the one everyone leaned on, the one who had to be strong when no one else could be. You've mastered the art of keeping it together, but that doesn't mean you weren't falling apart in places no one could see. It's okay to admit that now. You see, strength isn't about never breaking. It's about knowing when it's time to stop carrying what was never yours in the first place. And the truth is, a lot of the weight you've been holding didn't start with you. It came from expectations, from survival, from old stories passed down like family heirlooms. But you don't have to keep carrying them. You're allowed to set them down. You're allowed to live a life that feels lighter, freer, more like you. The silence breaking isn't just about hearing something from above. It's about finally hearing your own soul again. That voice that got buried under the busyness. The dreams you postponed because they didn't seem practical. The joy you delayed because it didn't fit the plan. This message is your permission to come home to yourself. And when you do, everything begins to move. The people who are meant for you begin to arrive. The doors that were stuck begin to open. The answers you've been chasing start to find you. Not because you forced them, but because you finally got still enough to receive them. So, Virgo, take this as your sign. The silence has served its purpose. It doesn't need to protect you anymore. It's time to listen and begin again.